Hi, buddy. You're listening to the Miyuki Mile. I'm your host, Miyuki Takara. How's it? So, today we're going to be talking about the NBA labor negotiations going on right now with the draft over, and basically how the overall progress made in the NBA. And I know last week I had mistakenly called it a lockout. I'm actually going to tell you why that's not necessarily too far off, and why I think that the NBA right now isn't doing so well. Despite, me personally, the NBA is my favorite sport. But again, I'll get in on that in just a little bit. I do have a shout out for you guys. Today we're welcoming Habbo News. I really couldn't tell you too much about him. But Habbo News, welcome to the Miyuki Boat. Now, the NBA is... First off, I want to make one thing very clear. My favorite sport is basketball. My favorite league is the NBA. Out of all four major North American sports, I would say that the NBA is in the biggest proverbial hole. And there's actually something that they're missing that everybody else has. Now, one thing I'd like to go over before I really get into negotiations is the list of champions since 1990 for all four sports. I'm talking about the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL, and the National Hockey League. Okay, so I'd like you to listen to this list. This is since 1990. The Pistons, the Bulls, the Bulls, the Bulls, the Rockets, the Bulls, the Bulls, Bulls, Spurs, Lakers, 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 Spurs, Pistons, Spurs, Heat, Spurs, Celtics, Lakers, Lakers, Mavericks. Since 1990, 20 years, a grand total of 8 different champions. Now let's check out the NFL. The 49ers, the Giants, the Redskins, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Cowboys, Packers, Broncos, Rams, Ravens, Patriots, Buccaneers, Patriots, Steelers, Colts, Giants, Steelers, Saints, Packers. In 20 years, the NFL has 11 different champions. Now let's do the World Series since 1990. The Reds, Twins, Blue Jays, and just to let you know, 1994, the World Series was actually canceled. So baseball is actually conceding a year. Braves, Yankees, Marlins, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Angels, Marlins, Red Sox, White Sox, Cardinals, Red Sox, Phillies, Yankees, Giants. Despite the lockout in 1994, the Major League Baseball has actually ties the National Hockey League for most different champions since 1990. By the way, hockey has the Oilers, the Penguins, Canadiens, Rangers, Devils, Avalanche, Red Wings, Stars, Devils, Avalanche, Red Wings, Devils, Lightning, 04-05, they had their lockout, Hurricanes, Ducks, Red Wings, Penguins, Blackhawks, Bruins. Since 1990, 13 different champions. What's that tell you as a sports fan? I don't know about you guys, but to me, it tells me that there's no parity in the National Basketball Association. Now, one of the biggest, I'll get back into that point in just a little bit, but one of the biggest areas of contention is the salary cap. The owners want a hard salary cap, while the players don't want any change to the salary system. They're saying that the system isn't broken. Now, I know that I sided with the owners in the NFL lockout. And I'm going to side with the owners again here. As a basketball fan, as opposed to somebody that's just really pissed off at the players, I'd like to see a hard cap. Because as a Bills fan, at least I have something to look forward to. You know, there's so much parity in the National Hockey League and Major League Baseball that even as a Penguins fan, an Avalanche fan, a Mariners and Rockies fan, I have something to get excited about. And with recent events in the NFL, I have something to get excited about as a Bills fan. Maybe not so much the Broncos, but that's a different story. What do I have to get excited about in the NBA as a Nuggets fan? The development of Timofey Mozgov? Yay, he's learning how to block shots! Standing ovation, Timofey Mozgov! Is that it? The NBA is doing so poorly in comparison to the other three, major North American sports because their wounds are self-inflicted. You know, you have all these super teams, the Lakers, the Heat now, I would add the Celtics in, but I'm not going to. Same with the Knicks. You know, sure, they have Chauncey Billups and Ronaldo Bachman, who I was actually a fan of when he was a Nugget. But they also have Carmelo Anthony, who doesn't fit that system at all. Sorry, Knicks fans. But as a Nuggets fan, what do I have? This league needs more parity. It needs more fans to get excited about stuff. The only team, the only fans in the other three major sports that don't have anything to cheer about are the Pittsburgh Pirates from baseball. And that's because of really fucked up management up in the upper offices. Dodgers fans, you want Mark Cuban. As a Rockies fan, it would scare the living daylights out of me if you guys got Mark Cuban. You know, you got pop culture reviving the Mets, even though ESPN is saying that Jose Reyes may have to go. You at least have something there for New York. The Nuggets, what do we have? Ty Lawson? Danilo Gallinari? You know, we're no longer going to have J.R. Smith. Thank God for small favors. I fucking hate that guy. He's an idiot. But we're also getting rid of Kenyon Martin, who, despite his lack of offensive productivity, I was a fan of. But despite the roster, there are no teams outside of the Heat and the Lakers, and now the Mavericks. By the way, congratulations, Dallas. Mike Evans from KKFN The Fan, 104.3 FM Denver, once said that you have to have the best player to win a championship. The Mavericks just proved him wrong. Thank God the Mavericks just proved him wrong. I mean, that's not to say Dirk Nowitzki is a bad player or Jason Kidd is a bad player. I'm just saying they're not anywhere near the best for their positions. And they went up against the likes of Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. I don't care what anybody says. Zydrunas Ilgauskas is a good player. He can make any team better. I don't care what anybody says about Zydrunas Ilgauskas. He is a good player. But the Mavericks went up against that and won. It could be because the Heat relied too much on jump shots and they're an inside team, which is never a good combination. So they shot themselves in the foot. But the fact of the matter is, the Mavericks tamed the beast. David beat Goliath. Unfortunately, Mavericks fans, I don't see it happening again. You guys got a good team. Don't get me wrong, you have a great team. But considering the lack of parity and the fact that the superstars get the call in the NBA, do the superstars get the calls? I mean, sure, the superstars in baseball get balls and strikes, but you still have to play good to win. Just ask the New York Yankees about the Texas Rangers. The lowly Texas Rangers. Just ask the Green Bay Packers. Or, excuse me, ask the Pittsburgh Steelers about the Green Bay Packers. Ask the Oakland Raiders about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There is so much parity in the other three major sports. They're successful. The only problem with hockey is you can't find it anywhere. If you could find it and Gary Bettman would quit treating hockey like his bitch as opposed to his baby and show fans why they're fans of hockey, I would say that hockey would be more successful financially than the NBA. They're the only one out of the four major North American sports that's doing worse than basketball. And that's saying something considering how boring baseball's been getting lately without the steroids. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge defensive guy. I love good defense. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. That's the mindset I take. But every now and then, I would like to see a 5-4 game. Every now and then, I would like to see a 10-9 game in baseball. Nonetheless, these constant 2-1, 3-2 games are doing more business than basketball, which has constant action. And again, if Gary Bettman would get his head out of his ass, he could actually do better than David Stern. I want to see the salary cap becoming a hard cap. Basically, what the salary cap is in basketball now is you can actually go above the salary cap in what's called the luxury threshold. And basically, you can turn yourself into the New York Yankees. The salary cap, I do believe, is $89 million. I could be wrong. In fact, I can almost guarantee I'm wrong. But you can go up to about 1.5 times that in what's called the luxury threshold. So it has a very soft cap. I want to see a hard cap. I want to see the talent more spread out. I don't want to see the superstar players in one specific location. I don't want to see Pau Gasol, Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, and Ron Artest all on the same team. Oh wait, that's already happening. Yeah, Lakers fans are going to say I'm nuts. Heat fans are going to say I'm nuts. But I'd like to see the talent spread out. I'd like to see Minnesota Timberwolves fans have something to cheer for. I'd like to see Clippers fans have something to cheer for outside of Chris Kaman. And even then, he's turning out to be more of a bust than a help. He doesn't have any help. NBA, help Chris Kaman. Last I checked, he was supposed to be a prodigy in the league. And then he went to the Clippers, who now have Blake Griffin. And again, despite having Chris Kaman and Blake Griffin, the Clippers have nothing to cheer for. The Raptors have nothing to cheer for. And I have inside experience with Linus Kleza. I know how exciting the guy can be. He's now a Raptor. Yet the Raptors have nothing. And these wounds are self-inflicted. David Stern shot himself in the foot more times than I can count. And the referees aren't helping by giving flops to Rajon Rondo when the defensive player is 5 feet away. Or to Manu Ginobili. Or a clean block shot being called a foul just because Kobe Bryant missed a shot. What? Are you fucking serious? Yeah? I'm serious. That's the state of the league right now. That's why these owners are asking for a hard cap. Now, there has been some sort of wavering, which is why I'm saying that this is this has a different scent than the NFL. The NFL, though, talks are progressing at a better rate than I gave them credit for. The fact of the matter is, the NBA is progressing at a better rate. Yes, there's going to be a lockout. I talked to an NBA player. I'm not actually going to give his name because he doesn't actually know I do this. Let me put it to you this way. He's a new free agent. He came into my grocery store. He's a new free agent. And he said that when asked where he's going to sign, he said, quote, wherever they pay if there's not a lockout. And then he followed that up with something that scares the piss out of me as a basketball fan. Quote, it's not looking good. End quote. I'm scared now. I don't want to see basketball lost. If I had to pick between football and basketball, what season I'd like to go down the drain and just get canceled, I'd say football. I don't want to see basketball go. There's still a possibility that it could. Now, from what I understand, they are learning from the mistakes of the NFL and progressing talks. But according to Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and David Stern, and this is public knowledge. I can actually give their names because this is public knowledge. They're, quote, miles away. I just hope they don't pull an NFL and meet only once a month. That would be the worst thing that the NBA can do. Okay, what I'd like to see in these negotiations. By the way, another thing I'm giving the NBA over the NFL, they're negotiating. The NBA figured it out before the NFL. They're negotiating. What I'd like to see is some concessions given to the players. The revenue sharing that's in the NFL, I'd like to see it on the players. Give them something in return. But to the owners, I'd like to see a hard cap. Basically what a hard cap is you can't go above the salary cap. The NFL has a hard cap, and it works wonders. You have this parity. Now, there's not as much parity as, say, with the NHL, but the NHL does have a hard cap. It's not as hard as the NFL, but it's not as soft as the NBA. The only sport that doesn't have a salary cap is baseball. Yes, they're doing great on the parity front. When lowly teams like the Tampa Bay Rays and the Colorado Rockies can make the World Series, you've got something good there. You need to roll with it. As much as I fucking despise the pussiness that is Bud Selig, I gotta tell you, he's running a great organization in the MLB. If you're not a baseball fan, you need to give it a try. Okay, it's boring now. Great. Go with an open mind. Baseball is always good. It's always better to watch when you're at the arena. I've been to 3 Rockies games this year. Each time, except for the last one, the first 2 times, the scores were low. I'm talking about a 2-1 Rockies win and a 4-3 Rockies win. Then I went to another game and saw 5 runs in 1 inning for the Rockies. So yes, scores are low. It's boring. That's why you go to the arena. The atmosphere. The only team that, like I said, that doesn't have anything to look forward to are Pittsburgh Pirates fans, because ownership seems to like giving away their top players for nothing. That's what I'd like to see in the National Basketball Association. The talent more spread out. Unfortunately, the players' egos just aren't there. You got people saying, hey, look at me, I'm going to become a Miami Heat. In fact, at the beginning of the season, Penny Hardaway said he was going to come out of retirement if he can sign with the Heat. Penny Hardaway? Are you fucking nuts? So yeah, as a fan, I'd like to see this hard cap. And this is one of those situations where you can pick either the owners or the fans, and you can be right. Either one, you can be right. Me, I side myself with ownership. Who do you sign yourself with? Miyuki85 at yahoo.com. YouTube username, man named Miyuki. Coming up next, we're going to be listening to the song Libera Me. Now, this isn't the Catholic version. This is actually a rather odd mix. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Catholic Libera Me from Hell. And actually, it has this cult following on YouTube for the Miku dance, dance, which is actually kind of lewd, considering if you listen really closely to the lyrics, which you actually have to in order to understand it, it has nothing to do with sex. Go fucking figure. And next week on the Miyuki Mile, we're going to be talking about a recent cigarette law that's being proposed. I got a rather big problem with this. Anyway, that's what's coming up next. You're listening to the Miyuki Mile.
So like a forest, my brain did chant it. It's time to let the words flow. Growing up, my parents told me many things that will shape and